Hello students, my name is Malvika Sagar and welcome to my lecture series. Today we are going to talk about cinema management. The second module of cinema management is preparation of production. Starting with our slide, that is film production cycle. Now let us understand that this film production cycle is a very long cycle. It starts with the idea that somebody has in their mind, somebody might have read from any newspaper, magazine, a novel, or may have been inspired in their dreams. So from there, the idea starts. Now, this idea is turned into treatment by writing on the piece of paper. This piece of paper contains these, it is not the script at that point of time, but it is a small story. Now, this short story can be of 1 or 2 pages, but this story, when later developed along with character introduction, characterization, their dialogues, the entire plotting, scenes, shots, that particular book becomes a script. Usually, a script is of 100, 200, maximum 300 pages. Then later on, it becomes through script, or the people involved in the storyboarding process develops a storyboard. A storyboard is a kind of a drawing which contains various actions, important camera angles, and movements which are drawn by the storyboard artist in order to explain the artist, the directors, that this is how they want their scene to be. These are the parts wherein the camera would be focusing on. So they have to act accordingly while shooting. Then, after the storyboards are being drawn, the cast, the crew members are being hired. Now here, the cast crew members are being recognized, their auditions are done. After getting selection through their auditions, when they find the perfect person matching their character, then the cast is being finalized. After that, the crew members, starting from the spot boys, electricians, people, those who are handling lighting, sound, camera, assistant directors, all of these members are being hired. They are known as crew members. Then they are, the list is prepared. After the list is prepared for cast and crew, now location scouting, the location sourcing is being done. Different films may have different locations, maybe one home, some different countries, some different farms, rivers, lakes, maybe seas. From there, location scouting, which is also known as recce, is done. Then, when all these locations are being finalized, after that, the filming starts, the actual production starts. When the production is starts, all the camera persons, producers, directors, cinematographers, a director of photography, there are a lot of people, those who are involved in the filmmaking process. They come along, they do their setup. Different sets are also being created. Sound recording is also done on the sets and off the sets. Various songs are also recorded in the studios, then their filming is done separately. So this, the entire production thing goes on. Then later on, when the production ends, the later and the most important stage comes in, that is editing, post production. So here the film is being edited on the editing table with the help of different machines. The sound effects are done, VFX is done, animation is done, music is added, background score is done. Their tone, the tone of the film, the colors of the film are being set, and then this gives a result to the final movie. So this particular, these points, these are the film production stages, and this is the cycle. And this cycle completes starting from the idea, which can be conceived by anyone, and later on when it is produced as a final movie. Moving on to our next slide that talks about film production. As I already explained you, in the film cycle, the production of the film starts when the script is locked. Now, till the moment when my idea, is converted into treatment. That means I have written my idea, a small idea, on onto a piece of paper wherein I am explaining the entire process that I have seen. It can be a part of dream also. Okay, so this particular treatment, when given the full importance and it has been developed as a script, that means the number of characters, number of dialogues are being written, the scenes, the shots are being fragmented in this particular book. A script is a book. So the script is locked means that the rights of the script have been taken. If your film is taken from somebody else's novel, your idea is somebody else's novel, here the script writer has been paid a particular amount of money for his script, and this means that the script is locked for the production. The producer has already given money to the script writer, so the deal is done. Now comes the actual shooting. Cinematography happens at this particular stage. The production starts, the actual shooting begins, everybody is there on the sets, the cinematographer, sound designers, lighting man, everybody. Okay, so this particular stage is known as film production. Here, the main important person in the film production process is the director, who oversees the production activities that are happening around during the set, during the film production in the set. Now here director provides a cinematic vision of the written words. Whatever is written in the script, the director is the one who visualizes that entire scene, then he divides the scene into different shots, different camera angles. He explains it to the cinematographer as he has seen in his visualization, with the discussion of, along with the producer, and he provides that this is how I want my scene to be, this is how I want my shot to be. So his words of wisdom are being provided to the cinematographer, and then along with the cinematographer the scene is being shot. Now he also makes sure to extract performance from the actors as required. If one director is not satisfied with some actors performance, then different takes are happen, the different takes takes places. That means retakes. You might have heard about this word retake. Maybe Sanjay Leela Bhansali is one of the director who's known to extract performances from the actors. In his film, all the actors performance that you see on the cinema screen, on the final screen, all the actors have that kind of depth in their acting. So these are the characteristics of a good director, wherein he is able to make sure that the actors are able to perform on their optimum level, and they are able to understand the character, and they are adopting that character inside themselves so that they are able to perform in the best possible manner. Now, here, the director is also responsible for the budget and schedule. Most important part in any filmmaking is budget. If you don't have money, you will not be able to do shooting, you will not be able to pay to your people, and of course, you will not be able to make film. So, here, director is the one who keeps track record of everything that everything, whatever expenditure is going to happen, it is under his supervision and nothing exceeds the budget. So he sees the budget, and he also makes sure that whatever schedule they have made, whatever schedule they have planned for n number of days, it is happening as per that schedule. He makes sure that the plan for the day is done within the time frame. So he tries to complete the task assigned for a day in that day itself. Otherwise, as the number of days exceeds, the amount of money also exceeds along with that. Now he is also enabled to ensure that timely delivery of the film is done. It is very important. It is not just production that matters, but here the timely delivery of the movie is equally important. That means he is responsible at the later stages of the film production, that is post production, during the editing time, and he will make sure that the film is also edited on time, the sound effects are also done on the time, background score is also done on the time, and whatever different kind of music or songs are to be added for additional publicity, stunts, they are added on time, they are being made on time, and the final product of this entire exercise, that is film, is being delivered on time as promised per the date. Moving on to the next slide, wherein we will discuss about different people, those who are involved in the production process. Now, starting from the director to writer, actor, cinematographer, art director, sound recordist, location manager, line producers, and production controllers. So these names are the most important names when the production of any film is concerned. It doesn't mean that only these people are required while producing the film. These are the key people, those who are required. Otherwise, whenever we talk about film production, we have two categories of people, those who are involved. First one is above the line, another one is below the line. Okay, ATL and BTL. Above the line are these people, and below the line are all number of more than 100, 200 people are there, whom I cannot name right now. They, all these people are as equally important as these people are, because they are the one who are actually involved in the execution of the film process. Okay, now here director is the one who takes credit and who also earns the rejection from the audience on the final product, that is film. Any film for any director is just like his baby, where the way we take care of the baby is similar that the director takes care of his film. So the director is the most important part, because he is the one who's visualizing this entire concept, and he is trying to make things happen as he has seen in his visualizations. Now here writer is the one who makes sure that the dialogues are really crisp, they are entertaining, and they are equally applaudable. They should be liked by the audience. They should be relatable. So here the important part is being played by the writer also. Now actors are the important people again, because every film is dependent upon the actors. Now the most famous actors we put in the film, it is likely to be, happen that the film is going to be a blockbuster film, because the fan following is more of those particular actors. But if you involve new actors in your film, there are chances that you are a kind of a director who is more into experiment, who's more into experimenting with the things, and who also gives chance to the good acting people. Now we know certain names of the people who are not that good looking, but they are known for their acting, like Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Nasiruddin Shah, and many others are also there. Now cinematographer are the people who handle the camera. They are the ones who are on their toes shooting the entire visualization that is done by the director. A cinematographer is somebody whom you might have seen on the crane sitting along with the big bulky cameras, and they are the one who are shooting with the help of the cameras. They are actually the technicians who are using the equipment. In my yesterday's lecture I had referred to science, cinema as a science. So these are the people who are using these apparatuses to make sure that the cinema becomes as a art, and then later on, of course, cinema becomes as a business. Now the most famous cinematographers are V Manikandan and Ravi K Chandran. So these are the most popular cinematographers in our industry. One example I can give you here is that at the time of Om Shanti Om, Shah Rukh Khan is more into films with a cinematographer choice as V Manikandan and Ravi K Chandran, because Om Shanti Om, at the time when Om Shanti Om was launched, V Manikandan was the cinematographer of it, and Ravi K Chandran was the cinematographer of Savarya. Both were equally blockbusters. Although Savarya, in front of Om Shanti Om, because it was a multi-starrer film, was a little not liked by people that much. It was not too much hype, but yes, the cinematography was commendable. Now the fifth most important person is the art director. He is also known as the production designer. So the sets that you see, the kind of bungalows that you see, the kind of streets that you see, the kind of little minute details that you see on a piece of wall, while even the location is a slum area, so these are the art directors who keeps a track record of what kind of minute details are required to make a particular space apt for the scene. Now, sound recorders, of course, we are not living in the era of silent films. We need a sound recordist, and these are the people who make sure that they are capturing the ambient sound, the on the screen sound, the off the screen sound, and of course the dialogues and music. So these are the people who takes care of the better sound quality, and again these are people those who belong to the field of science. Now, location manager is one person who makes sure that the contract of every location is done, different permissions are being managed, and they have already taken permissions from the local authorities to shoot in the open areas. Now, comes the line producers. They are again the important people. They technically deal with the distributors and also along with the different union members. Okay, so next comes the production controllers. These are the people who are in constant contact with the legal authorities, the advocates, and they make sure that the production is done according to the budget and no penny is spent on a as a waste. They keeps a track record of every money being spent. So these people who are production controllers, they also make sure they question on everything, that why do you want to spend on this particular thing, why do you not want to spend on this thing. When comparative analysis is done, this thing can be bought at a cheaper price from this particular place. So this is how these people are the ones who are making sure that if not this thing, then the alternative is available. Okay, then comes the most important part, that is your script. A script is the base, is the backbone of any film. No matter how much good your actors are, no matter how much good your cinematographers are, your director is, if you do not have a good script, your film is going to be a flop show no matter what. So here, script, screenplay is the most important thing. The screenplay should be written beautifully. This screenplay is a written work by the screenwriters for a film. They screenwriting a screenplay is something that you see on that screen for a particular period of time. Whatever you see on a single screen of at that point of time, all the people involved. Basically, this thing is known as mise en scène. Screenplay includes everything. Okay, now here it is a written work by the screenwriters of a film. It is the blueprint of the film and the foundation of any film. Just roughly you can understand that one page of script is equal to 1 minute of the screen time. Therefore, if it is a 1 hour long script, then you will need to have 60 pages. If it is 2.5 hour, of course it is 180 pages. So the standard screenplay, the standard script of any film that you see is of 180 pages. It is a creative and technical document for production. It is usually made on the softwares like Celtex, Fade and Final Draft are used to write a script. Now, the authorship of the script lies with the script writer, and often the director improvises the script while shooting. A good script is a film half done. This phrase is very important because the most of the time is spent on script writing. How much time do you think is spent on script writing? 1 month, 2 month? No, it can take nearly a year to write a script and to final the screenplay of any good film, because till the moment your script is ready, a fair a best amount of script is ready. The moment your 180 pages are ready and you're ready to shoot, it is nearly 60 to 80% of your work is done. Rest is just you need to produce, because everything whatever you have visualized is a part of your screenplay. Now, a small exercise I would like to give you. Here, I want you to think when a happy man is walking across the street in rain. Now, this phrase, I want you to visualize the above sentence on the following points. The moment I said you to visualize it, a happy man walking across the street in rain, I'm sure you might have put certain elements in the screen, in the in the visualization of yours. Here, uh, the questions that a director or a screenwriter needs to understand is these following: what kind of street is that? How does he look? What does he wear? Does he carry an umbrella? Is it crowded street? Is he speaking or hearing anything? Is there any vehicle on the road? So these are the questions that you need to put. I'm sure if I make 100 people hear the sentence, 100 different people will have different kind of visualization. Maybe it's a night for you. For some people, it might be day, it might be afternoon for some, and maybe for some people, it can be evening part of the day. Then the street for some can be busy, for some it can be empty street. Some For some people, that particular street would be a cemented street. For others it can be just a pavement, or for some people, the looks of this particular person can be shabbily, can be office wear, can be casually dressed. So all these different looks. So what kind of characters are you giving to your, what kind of characteristics are you giving to your character? All these points matter. Okay. So, even though this is not a part of your module, but I thought that it is very important for you to understand that whenever we are making this 180 minutes long duration of screenwriting, this is the actual formula for writing. Okay, so first we have Act One. Second, the major part that you see here is Act Two, and the third part that you see on the right hand side of the screen is Act 3. Now, in my Act 1, I have written over here is it is set up. It is ascending in action, and then from the Act 3, it starts, reducing, it starts falling down. So it comes to an end point. So here in my Act 1, what I will try to do is that I will try to introduce the situation, the characters, the guides, and then I will try to put them into a main body. And also I would like to arise a certain conflict in the story. If you see any film, you will notice that at 30th minute of the film there will be certain problem that will be arising in the story, and then this problem, all of the people, all of the characters involved in this film, they will be solving this particular problem. And at point number Act 2, the end point of Act 2 and starting of Act 3, that is exactly 1.5 hour or maybe approximately 2 hours, there would be a solution to the problem, and then everything will go back to normal. How everything will go back to normal is my resolution thing. So this is the basic film paradigm that you see. The first part of the film, while writing the screenplay, we are doing a setup, another one is confrontation, and the third one is resolution. Coming to the script breakdown, it is again very important part of the scripting process. That is the first step in production. Once your script is ready, the script is being break down on the different parameters. I will be showing you another slide here. Before Let me explain how script is being broken down. Script can be broken down on certain elements that are there in the script. In simple word, what is needed to be completed first. If we are going to a particular location, script is being based on, has is been broken down on those particular points. If for example my film requires the starting scenes in Switzerland, then I am coming to the slums of India, then I am going to somewhere in Sri Lanka. My film can be edited, the sequence is like that, but when I'm there in Switzerland, I will be shooting all the scenes that are required in Switzerland. When I am in the slums of India, I am shooting the entire script, which the entire scenes wherein the slums of India are required. And then thirdly, if I am going to Sri Lanka, all those scenes wherein Sri Lanka's location is required, I will be shooting them one at a time. I mean, once in one go. I cannot do like that. That first I'm going to Switzerland, then I'm coming back to India, then I'm going to Sri Lanka, then again I'm going to Switzerland. So this is not like that. Whenever we are going to any particular location, be it scene 1 or scene 51, we try to complete all those scenes together. So this particular process is known as script breakdown. Now, a script breakdown is actually an analysis of the screenplay in which all the production elements are produced into, are being reduced into the list. It is the responsibility of the assistant director to make sure that the script breakdown is available, and different versions of the script are also being made. For example, if I have five different actors in my film, one is Amitabh Bachchan, another is Shah Rukh Khan, third is Salman Khan, fourth is Amir Khan, fifth is Ranbir Kapoor. So I will give all those scripts which belongs to certain actors. I do not need to give the entire script to Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, and other actors. Only whatever their part is required, I will be giving those particular part of the script to them. Again, script can be broken down on the availability of the actors, on the basis of location, on the basis of time, on the basis of dialogues, on the basis of costumes. Why dialogues and costumes? Because costume designers also need to make sure that the different costumes are available at the different times and different locations. Makeup and prop, I'm sure you might have seen movie Pa. This particular makeup for making the character RO required Amitabh Bachchan to sit for the next 6 hours, 8 hours, maximum 10 hours also for his makeup and props. Therefore, makeup and props department also need to have the entire script wherein their major role is required. So each version is used by different departments. Now, this is how a sample script breakdown looks. The first column that you see on the left hand side is scene. The number of shots are mentioned, shot scale are mentioned, different kind of camera movements are mentioned. That means your camera movement can be, it can be tilt up, tilt low, a pan shot, dolly shot, all those camera angles can also be involved, high angle, low angle. In the movie Sarkar, you can see Amitabh Bachchan having a low angle camera, wherein a character whosoever is having a low angle camera becomes very dominant, looks very dominant. And if we are having a top angle camera, the character looks very it looks very weak. Okay, so actions are required, then dialogues are required, sound and VFX is required in my script breakdown. Now, the important another important thing in our filming process is shooting schedule. This schedule is something wherein when the script breakdown, it is based on different creative parameters that we have recently discussed. The shooting schedule is based on purely technical and administrative needs. This schedule is required by different people who are there interested in project plan of each day's schedule, shooting schedule for the film production. That means they are keeping a track of our budget, they are sanctioning the budgets, they are trying to have different sponsors, so they need to have the shooting schedule while shooting. The schedule represents a timeline stating when and where the production sources are used. It helps in budget and time management. This is how the shooting schedule template looks like. Date is mentioned, shot number is mentioned, location and spots are mentioned, film teams and task is there, different actors involved is there, the actors names are there, what kind of equipments are being used, what kind of wardrobes and properties are being used, are there any safety issues, how transportation and logistics team is working, and how catering people are available. So another important part of filming production is location scouting. This is also known as Recce. Now, location scouting is actually a vital process in pre-production stage and executed during the production stage. Now, here the script writer, along with the director and cinematographer, they go to a particular location and then they assess that location, that these are the different camera angles wherein we can use, and these are the problems that we would be facing while shooting. So they go to a particular location and check whether if it is feasible for them to, actually shoot on that location, or do they need to create a different set of that location. So after scouting the location, they finalize the location in terms of availability, and other legal requirements are done. As I had already discussed in my previous slides, the legal requirements are a must, because the permissions are to be taken from the local authorities, the permissions and certificates are to be taken from the high authorities, the people those who are involved, and every legal formality is supposed to be done before finalizing the location. Now here important point comes, that the suitability of the location is based on what factors. So these are the following factors that you can see on your screen are involved when the suitability of the location is talked about. The first one is overall aesthetic, whether the director, that he has visualized, whatever he has visualized in his mind, suits his visualization or not. So the entire aesthetic is required. The financial cost to production, is it matching to the budget, is it exceeding the budget, or is it within our budget. Then logistic feasibility included, but not limited to distance from the base of operations or other locations schedule. That simply means wherein if I want my people to be shooting on that particular location, it's not just people those who will come and one simple camera will be required. The bulky equipments are required, track, dolly, different kind of lights, sounding equipments, whether if there is a space for all these people to accommodate or not. So here logistic and or to bring other equipment from one place to another, this is my logistic feasibility. Then next point comes is that we also need to ensure that the parking facility is available to keep the crew and talent safe and dry at all times. That means that we have to make sure that our vans are there and proper place of parking is there, otherwise it will be chaotic situation. Then availability of the electrical power or feasibility of bringing in generators for lights and electrical equipment. If for example we are shooting on any lakeside view, of course there will be difficulty in getting the electrical power from nearby sources. Therefore we will be requiring generators for lights and electrical equipment, so that particular space is there or not. Then available light and weather conditions also permit you to shoot your film in a proper manner. That means how much lighting is the lighting controlled, is there will be need of extra lights, or the outdoor lighting will be sufficient for that particular kind of shot. The most important point is that we also need to have permissions and cooperation from the location owner, neighbors, local government, and definitely from the law enforcement. Films unions in India. So these are certain films unions wherein the cast and crew members are having their affiliation through federations of Western India Cine Employees, that is also known as FWICE, Film Federation of India, Cine and TV Artist Association, Indian Film and Television Directors Association, Junior Artist Association, Cine Musicians Association, Film Studios Setting and Allied Mazdoor Union, Mahila Kalakar Sangh. So these are the certain unions that are famous in our country, and most of the people, those who are working in the film industry, are supposed to have their affiliations from any of the above associations depending upon their capabilities. There are times wherein different directors are interested in hiring the local talent from XYZ places, but they are not able to make them perform because they are having a lack of in the association from these particular they are having a lack of certification from these associations. So it is mandatory for the people to have their association in any of these unions in our country. Now, dealing with the union is another important issue because a union is there to protect the interest of its members. They might be affiliated with the political entity and negotiating with the union leaders on payment insurance on payment basis, or it can happen on the insurance basis. It is also important to ensure a fair practice and impartiality in the production process. Therefore, all the people, all the production liners, all the production people, production managers are the ones who are dealing with the unions of the country. Then they are also dealing with the issues such as of human resources when it comes to individual cast and crew members. Production controller and legal advisors are the one who are working in the film industry, and they work with the unions to ensure of the smooth functioning of the film production. That means the certification is required, the permissions are required from the union, and people those who are having their affiliations from the different unions that I have mentioned just above, that means that if anybody who's having an affiliation, who's having a certification from these particular unions, will not be having any problem, and if they have any problem they can approach their union, and the union leaders will be carry forwarding with the legal advisors, and they will be talking with the production controller of the film companies. There are certain film companies which are very famous in our country. Their names are Yash Raj Banner, Dharma Production, Red Chili Productions. Yash Raj is of Aditya Chopra. Then we have Dharma Production of Karan Johar, Red Chili of Shah Rukh Khan, SKF Films of Salman Khan, Phantom Films of Anurag Kashyap. We have Jungli Films of Times and Reliance Films, etc. So they are the people those who are hiring the required personals, and these production houses requires a legal contracts. They are the people who require the creative and technical contribution, and these hiring is actually based on the requirement of other factors such as on the popularity basis. That means the actors are important, the experienced crew members. As I've already said, that there are times when there are certain actors who are comfortable with working with one or two different directors and one or two different cinematographers. Their skill, on the basis of their skill, that means their technical skill, how good they are on in their sound recording, how good they are in their camera techniques. Then also in the market demand and songs, you might have seen that nowadays it is a trend that so many Badshah songs are coming into different films, and that happens because of market demand. They have to put certain songs to make sure that their film is being watchable, and it's not, no matter if it is matching with the storyline or not, they are putting in the end so that these songs are popular in demand, and therefore because of market demand they're putting in their films. Industry trend for action and dance, these Bollywood film is known for its masala comprises of different elements which also talks about action and dance. So special dancers, special famous dancers like Noora Fateh and others are also being included in certain films for their different songs. Then of course it is also based on rights for writers. For example, if Chetan for example, like Chetan Bhagat's film novels have been transformed into films, like Three Mistakes of My Life is Kai Poche, and Half Girlfriend is again Half Girlfriend. So here the writers, if the novels are also really good, Harry Potter is one of the biggest example. If the writers are writing very good novels, they are being compelled to transform into movies, and again those films are bigger blockbusters. Yeah. So I was talking about handling contract here. Handling contract is important because it talks about the copyright of the film. It is only between the writers and the director. The contract with the crew and cast is done, and it also deals on the ownership of the film, that is the entire production house. The production house names I have already discussed earlier, that is Yash Raj Production, Dharma Production, we have Red Chili, SKF, Phantom, etc. So all these films that are being produced are having you know are having uh, they these particular film production houses have the ownership of the film. They are the ones who are dealing with the legal contract on the location, equipment and personnel involved. Then we also have a separate legal and administrative teams to take care of this entire process. They often indulge in the negotiations with different unions that we have just discussed. The government officials and the managers, or the media managers, those who are involved in the production of the film. So next is legal agreements. Here, the legal aspect of the film is also supposed to be taken care, because the legal agreements are to be made to ensure that there is no conflict of interest, there is no fighting afterwards, and then there is no blaming on each other. Therefore, legal agreements are the ones wherein the scriptwriter, the copyright, and everything are being sanctioned, and everything is in place so that there is no conflict of interest later on. Also, in order to finance a feature film, the producers generally form a production company and sells the interest in the business entity. The legal agreements need to be made with the cast and crew so that they will work with the film until and unless the unit of a film is completed. The legal agreement in the terms of copyright, shareholding, and piracy are also kept in mind. The legal agreements are handled by the legal advisor with the help of producer. Then we need to have security permits. A security team is an important team which is made up of representative of all the production departments, creating information security management policies and processes. They are the ones who are spreading the awareness of security policies and processes on the production employees and contract. Here, the employees and the contractors are the actors and crew members, cast and crew members. They also secure the shooting permissions at the local level at the location, and they also secure the legal permissions and informal permissions required as required. They are also the ones who keeps in mind the safety and security and the entire permissions, and they also take the precautions. They also ensure the safety of the people those who are involved while performing the stunts and even while not performing the stunts. The equipment and location management, most of the production houses, they do not own the equipment. They rent the equipment whenever the requirement rises. The needs of the legal and administrative tasks are undertaken, and checking the quality of the equipment is also their most important part of the job. They also ensure that none of the damage is done and the entire equipment is being properly used and returned. They are the ones who make sure that the location is safe and it is ready to use. Also, they take oversee the challenges in the location, whether if it is related to climate and local people. They also ensure that no hindrance is there while the production activities are going on. So this was the lecture on cinema management, wherein we were focusing on the preparation of the production for films. um, Thank you. The lecture series end over here. If you have any doubts and queries, my email ID is mentioned in the slide. You can definitely feel free to contact me. And that's all for